Hello, welcome to 10 at 10. My name is Michael Ramage. I'm the director of the Cyber Education and Research Center here at Murray State University, and welcome back to 10 at 10. 10 at 10 is brought to you through a partnership between Murray State University, Grow West, the Technology Council of West Kentucky, KY Innovation, and our local partner, Sprocket Innovation in Paducah, and the Kentucky Innovation Station in Madisonville. If you've been following along for the past month or so, we have been talking about 5 tips, five things that I recommend doing first if you are a small organization, a small business that's thinking about cybersecurity. It's not an exhaustive list, but it's where to get started. We completed that last week, and as a follow up, I had a question this week that came up, and I thought I would address it. And it's a good question. And the question was, where do I start? How do I how do I know what to do or how much to do? One of the things I said last week is that you could actually end up spending as much money on security technology as you want because there's so much that you could do. But the question is, what should you do? Where should you start? How should you get going? And I like to talk. I'm a project manager, and I like to talk things about from a business case and look at it from truly a cost benefit analysis. And I thought that I would do that today is actually look at this issue like a business person would, because frankly, cybersecurity and the adversary, the bad actors, are looking at this as a business as well. I hate that that's the case, but that is the case. So, you know, um, a if you're looking at ways to secure your company, you're not going to spend more money to secure it than the information's worth. Now, there's formulas that we can get into, and we could talk about that another day. But I want to kind of give you the big picture of what's happening in cybersecurity over the last decade, really, or more, to think about cost benefit and how do you get started, and more importantly, where do you start? So those 5 things we talked about: passwords, policies, user education, assessments and audits, and technology. That's really about where to get started. So first of all, I like to talk about Stuxnet. And to me, a lot of this discussion goes back to Stuxnet. Stuxnet was a worm that was released into the wild, and its goal was to look for a specific computer running specific software connected to an industrial control system in a particular remote area of Iran. That's what it was looking for. And so as it went into the wild, it would look at signatures on your device and, did you meet what we're looking for? Are you the target? And if you were not the target, then it would replicate through your address book or USBs or whatever way that it could replicate. But it continues searching and searching and searching. And what researchers found was that it kept zeroing in on that particular area. So it wasn't as wild in the US, wasn't as wild in Europe. It was more wild as it got concentrated in to the Middle East, and in particular into the Iran country, the country of Iran, and then into the particular region where it was looking. And it had a number of things: IP address, a bunch of different things it was looking for, but it was looking to see if the computer was attached to an industrial control system. And it infected a USB drive. The computer that it was looking for actually was not even connected to the internet, but a tech wanted to update the operating system, wanted to update the computer like they're supposed to. So they downloaded the update to a USB drive. That USB drive also got infected with Stuxnet. They plugged it into that computer. That computer then connected to the industrial control system and set back the Iranian nuclear program a number of years. That's what the goal of the Stuxnet was. It was to find the computer system connected to a nuclear reactor and to sabotage it. Now, why do I share this? I share this because that was a big effort for a big return. we're not going to stop Stuxnet. If the people who created Stuxnet, and most people believe it was a combination of the Americans and Israelis, if they're going to target your company, you're not going to stop them. And that's okay. But what we can stop are these phishing attempts. These are just some examples I pulled off of the web. If Microsoft, if somebody's posing as Microsoft or Netflix or eBay or your bank, we can teach our employees to not click on the links in these emails. We can teach our employees this. We may not be able to stop Stuxnet from, a government from targeting our company with a worm like Stuxnet, but we can stop this. And that's where I want to reiterate that point, is that let's look at what we can do. So now, again, where do we start? Think about effort and benefit. It's a cost benefit piece. The more the effort, sometimes the bigger the benefit. So if you break up your security and how hackers are going to look at your place, um, into quadrants. There's the ones that take a big effort, but there's little benefit. There's big effort and big benefit, little effort, little benefit, little effort, big benefit. So, with that in mind, where do we start? So, first of all, where we want the bad guys to live is here. We want them to spend a lot of effort for a little benefit. That's where ideally we try to get them, so that they may spend a say $1 million on time and energy and equipment and whatever. Probably not $1 million, but just hypothetically, and they're only going to get $100,000 worth of benefit. That's great, because a bad guy's going to look at that and say, well, that's not worth our effort. So they're not going to do it. Does that make sense? That's where we would like for them to live. Then it's really hard to stop these guys. These bad guys, where there's a big effort for a big benefit, we probably can't stop them. We probably can't do anything about that. And that's the Stuxnet example. That's those really large efforts. And I always like to say that, if a bad guy wanted to target my company, they wanted to target me, we can stop a lot. But if they have enough money, they have enough expertise, they have enough resources, there's probably nothing that we're going to do to be able to stop them. So where do we start? We start here. We start those little efforts. We don't want them to spend a little bit of money, a little bit of time, a little bit of energy, and get a big benefit. That's the worst situation. We got to plug those holes first. Those things that take, if they have enough money, if they have enough resources, it's going to be hard for us to stop them. But those things that are little efforts, you might call those low hanging fruits. We can stop the low hanging fruits. We can do those things, those simple things that we need to do. We can do the user awareness training. We can use strong passwords. We can use two-factor authentication. All those things are easy to do. We can implement policies. Those are easy to do. I'm not saying they're all free, but those are things that we can do and that we should do. So going back to what I shared last week, over the last few weeks, really, are these 5 basic cybersecurity tips. Create a security policy, improve your passwords, improve user education, audit against policy and regulations, implement security technologies. These things, especially the first 3, are relatively inexpensive. Auditing assessments can get more expensive, and then implementing security technologies can be as much money as you want to spend. But the reason that I choose these as the first 5 things to consider is that we've got to stop those low-hanging fruit opportunities first. We gotta stop those little effort opportunities first. That should be your goal, and then work your way up. We've got to do those things first, with a focus on those little effort, big returns that hackers might have. That's where we need to start, and that's where I would recommend at least you starting. Does that mean you never get to the big effort categories? Of course you do. But if if you are just starting your cybersecurity program at your organization, you got to start somewhere, and that's my recommendation: is that you start with those low areas, those little effort areas, and then build up from there. I hope that helps because it can be overwhelming. I accept that thinking about cybersecurity and how you need to do this in your organization can be absolutely overwhelming. So I do hope that this helps. I hope that this helps you kind of think about it from the bad guy standpoint, because it is about cost benefit. It is about the effort, the money, the time I put in it, or the bad guy puts in it, and what they're going to get out of it. That's where cybersecurity is today, and that's the mindset you need to think about as you start to implement some of these tools. If you have questions, let me know. I'm always happy to answer a question. This was a good question this week for us to talk about. If you have a question, email me. Our contact information will be on the screen following this, and I hope to see you right back here on 10 at 10. Thank you. Bye.